Om Shanti. It's a great pleasure to be speaking about Brahma Baba, who's such an incredible person, and I've learned so much from him, and I'd like to share some of the things that stand out for me in Brahma Baba. First, he was the first prince, the purest soul ever to be on earth. And yet he was so friendly and natural, and the way he played with the children and always making people happy, always giving happiness wherever he went. And I'm thinking of him as incorporeal. And this is a difficult one because I didn't actually see him in person, but I've heard so many stories about him and how he used to take the children for walks along the beach and get them to lie down and look up at the sky. And he said, "See those tiny stars up there? That's what you are. You're the stars of the earth, a tiny, tiny twinkling star." And I often think of that, and I lie down and I think of being a tiny star. It's a beautiful image, and it stops me being caught in the material world. And with the virtues that he had, every virtue that you could ever think of, he had. And I loved his virtue of being humble, humility, and he always put others first. And he never thought of himself. And he used to give a lot of time to the children, talking to them and playing with them. And one day he was beyond this world. He was really in the soul world, in Brahmand. And a little child went past and he picked up a ball and threw it to the child. So even though he was in a very incorporeal state at that time, he was able to just leave that and go and play with the little boy. So always he was there for all the children and his own children. I have a family myself with 5 children and 10 grandsons, 2 granddaughters and 2 great-granddaughters. And so I understand how he was so good with his family and so loving. And I remember even close to Nirmal Shanta's time on earth when she was to leave the body, he used to say how lovely she was and how her smile brought so much happiness to others. And we see all those virtues that he had, he actually passed on to all the daddies and diddies and all the seniors. They have grown like him, and I hope that I also can do that. And I went on a tour once with Daddy Manohar, and the whole way in the car she kept saying to me, "Would you like something more to eat?" And she was passing me things which were for her. She was passing on to me, and always thinking what I would like when I was just very junior. And you see this in all the daddies. And Daddy Janki, how she was all the time, whichever centre I was in, she would walk straight into Baba's room and stay there in Baba's room, and she was just blown away with the beauty of Brahma Baba and Shiv Baba and the two together. And once I asked Dr. Nirmala, who was the director of the Brahma Kumaris in Australia, and I said to her, "Didi, when you were with Brahma Baba, did you think, I wonder if Shiv Baba is there or if it's just Brahma Baba?" And she replied, "I always thought it was the two. I always thought they were both there." And this was because Brahma Baba was so godlike. His nature was so divine. And also, he had a very good sense of humour. And I like that a lot because in my life I think I've been a bit too serious and taken things too much personally or to heart. And really, he was just so full of fun and full of lightness. And one day he was working in the garden and he was all dirty, his hands and his clothes and everything. And a very well-known businessman came to see him. And the businessman was all dressed very immaculately. And he said to Brahma Baba, "I've come to see Brahma Baba." And Brahma Baba said, "Just a moment, I'll go and get him." And he went inside and had a shower and put on clean clothes. And he came out and spoke with the businessman. And the businessman said to him, "Who was that working in the garden?" And Brahma Baba said, "My younger brother." And it was him, really. But he was playing fun and just being light. And it was very lovely to hear. And another thing, he had a little sparrow, a little bird that used to come into his hut. And he loved that little bird, and he used to call that little bird his daughter. And after Brahma Baba passed away, still they used to see that little sparrow come in looking for Brahma Baba. And so he had love for everyone, every person, every child, every adult. He used to find a place for them, find something that they could do so that they could grow. And it was beautiful, and it's beautiful to see it echoed in the seniors and the daddies. And I think another thing that I learned from him was his maturity. So when he had to be light, he was light. When he had to be serious, he was mature and experienced. And even though Shiv Baba often in the Murli would say, "Don't think about Brahma Baba, is nothing at all, don't take any notice of him," he would just smile and he would just be happy. And of course, these words were coming through his mouth, saying, "Oh, he's just an old shoe." But, you know, he really understood what Shiv Baba was saying. And sometimes, of course, Shiv Baba said, "Brahma Baba's directions are the same as my directions. Listen to him like you listen to me." And he would lift him up so high. And Brahma Baba would also lift us up so high. And there's so many stories about how he was egoless. He never wanted anything for himself. He always wanted for the children and put the children first. And I know before I came to this knowledge, when I ever was serving my children at home, I would always serve them all first. And even I would wait until they'd finished and see if they wanted a second helping before I would take my food. And my children used to say, "Mum, come on, sit and eat with us." And I would say, "Oh, just wait in case you want some more." And I think that's, even though I didn't know Baba then, I feel like somehow his virtues were there. Somehow I knew how he would act. And I just love him very much. And I think that his qualities, especially his sweetness, and always every Murli starts with sweet children. And I know it's Shiv Baba talking, but I feel Brahma Baba is meaning every word. It's exactly what he would say. Anyway, he would always call us sweet children, even when we're not sweet, or we've done something that we feel is not right. Still, he would call us sweet children, lovely children, and he would always be there for us. So I just feel that any quality we can think of, honesty, integrity, all those qualities were his, and his egoless way of acting with people and always putting them first. It's amazing and beautiful. And I could go on further, but I just feel that his love is the main thing. And I remember how he had love for so many people and never spoke badly about anyone. And he had such good information from Shiv Baba. But you know, when Shiv Baba first spoke to him, he had to work it all out. What does this mean? How is this coming to me? And people used to see him as Krishna or as Vishnu, and they would think he was God. And he had to be very egoless and say, no, it's my Father. It's not me, it's my Father. And my teacher and my Sadguru, it's not me. He was so egoless. And I have spoken to his grandson on different occasions, and his grandson says he used to sit on his lap in the hut, and he used to see him playing with the birds, and he can remember such love coming from him to everything and everyone. And so on the 18th of January, all the flowers will come in from Brahmins who have flower farm, and the whole place will be decorated with flowers, and every photo will be covered with flowers around the edge. And he was a fragrant flower. He was exactly that. And thank you for listening, and I hope you get a lot of goodness from Brahma Baba, a lot of goodness and cooperation, everything. And thank you, and all the best. Om Shanti.